All right, leading our bulletin this hour, the uMkhonto weSizwe party has filed urgent papers at the Constitutional Court to interdict Friday's first sitting of the National Assembly.
Now, this comes after the party's letter of demand to the Secretary of Parliament and Chief Justice Raymond Zondo, asking them not to convene the first sitting, did not yield results.
The party seeks a hearing in the Apex Court before Friday.
At the same time, Parliament is forging ahead, planning to swear in members of the National Assembly, elect a Speaker as well as the President.
Now, the Constitution states that the first sitting of the National Assembly must take place at a time and date determined by the Chief Justice within 14 days of the election being declared.
At the same time, expelled founder of the MK party, Jabulani Khumalo, has turned to the Western Cape High Court, urgently seeking his reinstatement as the party's #1 candidate. Khumalo also wants the court to prohibit the MK party, its leader, Jacob Zuma, or anyone working under its instruction from removing his name as a member of the National Assembly. Now, Khumalo hopes for an interdictory before the first sitting of the National Assembly on Friday. It depends on Part B of his application, which challenges his expulsion and a looming electoral court judgment on the leadership battle in the party. Now, Khumalo recently challenged the IEC's record of Zuma as the party's leader in the specialist court, and judgment in that matter was reserved. Let's stay with this particular matter now and unpack it for you, just to give you a sense of what is at play here, especially with developments around the MK party. SABC News reporter Canny Maphanga and legal analyst Donda attorneys MD Melusi will be in conversation with us. But I'm going to start with Canny here in studio. Canny, thank you so much for your time. I mean, let's just start first with Section 46 of the Constitution. This is what the MK party is basing its application on as they're trying now to interdict the first sitting of the National Assembly. Let's give the viewers a sense of what this section says.
Absolutely. Thank you, Bongiwe, and good afternoon to the viewers at home. Well, of course, we've seen today, following the letter of demand that was sent over the weekend, in which they asked the two officers, that is the Office of the Chief Justice and the Secretary of Parliament, to refrain from convening that first sitting of the National Assembly. Now, we've seen that the Chief Justice, as required by law, has set a date and time, which is Friday the 14th of June at 10 a.m. After this letter of demand didn't yield the desired results for the MK party, we've seen now that they've turned to the Constitutional Court to get an interdict just, 2 or 3 days prior to this first sitting supposed to take place. And they're asking the court to interdict that sitting from convening, citing Section 46. Now, if we look at Section 46, I'm not sure if our colleagues have that graphic available for us, but it speaks of the composition of the National Assembly and really speaks to the electoral system, which is important why you don't read legislation in isolation. Now, it clearly states that the National Assembly consists of no fewer than 350 and no more than 400 women and men elected as members in terms of an electoral system. So it's quite clear what it's speaking about. When we speak of what's going to take place on Friday, which the Chief Justice has confirmed, we are dealing with the issue which will see the swearing in of members, as well as the election of a Speaker and the election of a President, as confirmed by the Chief Justice. For that, you will have to turn to the issue of quorum, which then you turn to Section 53. And it clearly states that for those decisions to be taken, you need at least 1/3 of the members to be present. That would translate to 133 out of those 400 to be present rather on Friday when they sit. So it appears that what the business of the day is supposed to be on Friday the 14th of June can proceed on Friday should they meet that 1/3 requirement or the quorum for the national sitting.
It's quite an important one, but one then asks the question, Canny, can the Constitutional Court hear this in 3 days?
Well, that's quite difficult to answer. I mean, they filed urgent papers, and we've seen how overwhelmed these courts are and the number of applications that are coming into the various superior courts in the country and how litigious as a nation we've become. And I just don't see a situation where in 3 days they'll be able to entertain this application. However, we will see. It's up to the Constitutional Court if they are able to entertain this matter and how they conclude regarding this application that has been filed.
At the same time, there is that matter of the expelled MK Party founder Jabulani Khumalo turning to the Western Cape High Court.
Absolutely, yes.
What is he pleading?
Well, Jabulani Khumalo is the expelled founder of the MK Party that has fallen out politically with some of those members of the MK Party. You may remember, rather, that we were in the electoral court just a few weeks ago where he was asking to be reinstated. Now, the elections were declared on the 2nd of June. You know, there was that 48-hour window period to amend those lists. It seems that he's trying to secure his reinstatement through the Western Cape High Court as well, asking for that declaratory order and that protection pending the finalization of his Part B of his application, as well as the looming electoral court judgment that we expect on this issue, because it has already been argued in the specialist court where he seeks his reinstatement, and he's challenging the IEC's recordal of former President Jacob Zuma as the leader of the MK Party. Now, it remains to be seen on Friday if he can or cannot